use C in our in developing embedded systems. And today, nearly all the C development is based on the GCC, which used to be the GNU-C compiler, but now it's called the GNU compiler collection. It's developed by the GNU project, which is a free and open source software project, and it is the most popular C compiler. It is the compiler that we, as I said before, it is the compiler that we use for developing programs for the PC, and it is also the compiler that we use to develop programs for the microchip and other microcontrollers. This gives us a great advantage, which is the fact that, for instance, to test code, we can test code on the PC, and we know that that code will also compile when we transfer it to the microcontroller environment. Now, how does the GNU-C compiler works? So the process is this described here. We start with the source code. It can be a C file, a C++ file, or a header file, a .h. And the first step is called pre-processing. That's done by a program called CPP, or by invoking GCC with special switches. This step processes all the include messages that are in the source code, and all those commands that start with a cardinal sign. Those are preprocessor commands. And then we have the code where all the macros are expanded and all the headers are included and so on. And that's when compilation starts. And compilation, in fact, consists in converting this expanded code with the headers into assembly code. And then we have the assembling code that will generate machine code. This machine code is what it's called a relocatable code. So it's already composed of machine instructions, but no specific address in memory has been assigned. So it can be relocated. I can place it where I need to place it. The last step is linking, when I will collect all the necessary object files, .o or .obj. I include every library that may be required, and then I link all together to produce the executable machine code. .exe in a Windows or DOS machine, and usually with no extension on Unix-like systems. So this is the basic idea. We have these four steps. When we use GCC, usually if you just type GCC, we go from one end to the other end. We take the C source code and then we create an executable file. When we use GCC -C, that's -C means compile only. It will compile the C code and generate object code. These files that were mentioned before, the included and expanded and the assembly, they are usually temporary files. They are actually created, but just temporarily, and they are deleted at the end of the process. When we have several C source files, the process goes like this. Every C source file will be converted into a corresponding object file. So there's an association of one-to-one between C source and object files. And then in the linking step, we collect all these together. We add the libraries, and then we create the final executable file. In the case of the MPLAB IDE, you will see that we have an extra step that is done by this program called Beam2X, which is to convert the binary file that contains the code to be executed in a so-called X file format, or IntelX. And this is a file that is used to transfer the code from the PC to the PIC32 board. So the main phases are presented here. Source code is compiled into object files, one object file for each source file. These object files do not have addresses assigned yet. And finally, the linker has the job of assigning addresses, picking everything, making a single file of all the object files and assigning the addresses to defining the locations in memory for every part of the object file. So let's see, this is the standard example, the classic hello world, and I would like you, and so if I will do the same steps that Carolina did on her PC. So I will write git checkout and then the tag simple. And now I have a folder called hello world, and I will change directly into that. I have a hello.c file, and to compile this, I will just increase the size of in order to be easier to see. All I have to do is gcc, then, and I will say that I want to write the output to a file called hello, and then hello.c. And then I have here the executable file working. If I want to just compile the file, as you can see, it created a .o file, and here. And I can also compile, GCC can compile either source files or object files. This is also possible, and it creates an executable file as well. Okay, so this is the basics of compiling. GCC allows several options. We have here some of them. We have used the first two ones, -c to compile only but do not link. Use -o to say where do I want to write the output. And one that I have not used, which is -w, uppercase W, saying that I want to enable warnings. If I write -w all, that means in the example, gcc -all hello.c. I have no problems in this code. It's rather simple, no warnings issue. I can also use the option -v to get what I would call all the gory details, every detail that's happening, and the result is this one. Okay, so I have a lot of things going on when I compile a program. The command is here, and this is GCC saying what has it done to get the output. Let's do, as I mentioned before, all that intermediate files are temporary files. Temporary files are stored in a fault called temp. So I will have a look at when do things stored in temp come out on all the things that the compiler writes. Okay, and now I have here the answer. Let's just clear the screen and show it again. Look at this first line. The first line actually is just this one. I have CC1, which is the C compiler that's compiling the file hello.c here, and it's producing the output in a .s file in the temp folder. Remember that .s are assembly files. Then I have a program called AS, which is the assembler, which takes this assembly language file .s and converts it into an object file. And then I have the last step, which is the longest also, where I have a program called collect2, which is the one that collects everything, every library, every object file. It uses the .o file that has been produced before, and it will generate the output. It's written somewhere in all those things to a file called hello, which is here. Okay, so we see here that effectively those steps, although we don't see, convert into assembly file, from assembly to object file, and for object to executable file. They all happen when I issue this command. And this kind of structure is important for us to know why do we build things in a certain way, and why do we need to do things.